He stood motionless in the falling snow, his body stiff, his breath visible in the cold air. A lone, stray dog, covered in frost, stood beside a half-frozen cardboard box near the edge of a country road. He didn't bark, he didn't whine. He simply stood there, legs trembling from the cold, eyes locked on whatever was inside the box. Drivers passed, barely glancing. Snow was falling harder now, sticking to his back and tail, but he didn't move. Something kept him rooted there. It wasn't until an older man named Jack, driving his usual route to town, noticed the strange sight. A dog frozen in place, beside a box in the middle of a snow-covered field. Jack slowed down, then stopped. The dog turned his head just slightly, but didn't leave the box. Jack stepped out, boots crunching into the icy ground. "Hey there, buddy," he murmured. "What are you guarding?" As he approached, the dog didn't run. He placed one paw gently on the edge of the box as if to say, "Look inside." Jack knelt down, his breath catching in his throat. Inside, curled into a shredded towel, was a tiny kitten, barely alive. Her fur was wet and matted, and her whiskers were frozen. She shivered violently, too weak to cry. The dog had no collar, no hag. His fur was clumped with ice, and one of his paws was bleeding. Yet somehow he had dragged or pushed the box through the snow to the roadside, seeking help. There were no tracks around but his, no food, no shelter, just this animal, refusing to let the kitten die alone. Jack wrapped the kitten in his scarf and opened the passenger door of his truck. He turned to the dog, uncertain, but the dog climbed in without hesitation, not to escape the cold, but to stay near the kitten. At the animal clinic, the vet team worked quickly. The kitten was suffering from hypothermia and malnourishment. They placed her in a heated incubator. The dog, whom the staff named Shadow, lay down outside the glass chamber and didn't move. He refused food, refused water. His eyes never left her. For 2 days he stayed like that, silent, unmoving, guarding her still. And then finally the kitten, now named Luna, opened her eyes. Her first steps were wobbly, but as soon as she was strong enough to walk, she pressed her tiny face against the glass toward Shadow. When they were reunited, she didn't leave his side. She climbed onto his back and fell asleep. And for the first time, Shadow closed his eyes and truly rested. The rescue center shared their story online. It spread like wildfire. People were stunned, not just by the dog's loyalty, but by his instinct to protect something so fragile in the bitter cold. One photo in particular touched millions. Shadow curled around Luna as snow fell outside the clinic window. That image spoke of silent devotion, of a love that asked for nothing, not even warmth. Eventually, Shadow and Luna were adopted together by a retired nurse who had lost her husband the year before. "They saved each other," she said, "and now they're helping heal me too." Today they live in a cozy home with a fireplace. Luna naps on Shadow's back, and sometimes on snowy mornings Shadow sits by the window watching the flakes fall, not with fear, but with memory, as if remembering the day he stood alone in the snow and refused to let love die. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stay. Sometimes true love isn't loud. It doesn't come with words or grand gestures. It's a shivering dog standing in the snow, refusing to leave a dying kitten behind. In a world so quick to walk away, stories like Shadow and Luna remind us what it means to